just some biology that you probably already know. So where is this all coming from? Well, basically, we use evolution by natural selection. So this is a big one. This is so good a theory. It's not just a theory, it's a scientific theory. It's an explanation, and basically it's the only explanation that we have that explains how all this life is has come this on Earth and is in these shapes that we see. So, and of course it's this guy with the great beard, Charles Darwin, who promoted this idea tremendously. And evolution, if I look at it, is basically growing and reproducing. And to do that, you have to feed yourself and breathe, and then you can sense your surroundings and move and act towards food and away from predators. And then, of course, you excrete also. And well, the official terms you can see down there, but perhaps some of you have learned this in high school, Mrs. Gren, as a sort of mnemonic to think of these 7 terms. But these are things that describe life in general. Now, on Earth we have the biosphere, so basically where everything lives, where food is produced and where food is used or eaten. And you can see that in the picture, of course. And we have this whole cycle of plants that make food, herbivores that eat it, and then the carnivores who eat them. And then there are the detrivores, so basically the reducers, and then we have, well, these are the reducers and these are the detrivores. They basically cut it into smaller pieces and they basically get out the minerals, and then it all starts over again. So it's one big cycle, everything's connected here. And if you zoom into what makes the food, then basically it's the chloroplasts inside plants. You know this, right? And this chloroplast turns sunlight into chemical energy. And of course, the mitochondria in our cells change this chemical energy again in ATP that we can use to do everything with this citric acid cycle that is really confusing and difficult to remember, right? These are both examples of endosymbiosis, which basically the idea is that we think that a long time ago, one cell that could do this was inserted into another cell. So this bacterium, let's call it a bacterium, used this chloroplast to make its own food. And another bacterium used the mitochondria to change the chemical energy again in ATP. So it's already a kind of cooperation. And this sea snail does basically the great thing. It's an animal. It looks like a leaf, but it's an animal, and it has chloroplast in its skin. I mean, it's a hybrid creature. It uses what plants do to make food, a bit of energy for himself. So that's already great. So I did this the last time too. So we need a reality check. It's always good to have reality checks. He's laughing already. So the timeline of life on Earth. Let's see. Well, if this is 4.6 billion years, giga years. Sorry, this is still the Dutch version. Sorry about that. So giga years, 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth was formed, the solar system was formed. But 1 billion years later, single-celled life arises, and then a long time, you think nothing has changed, but in that time, they found this trick of symbiotic creatures. Basically, the first plant cells came to life, and then multicellular life arises, so the more complex life arose. And then we have the Cambrian explosion. There was a lot of more animals. Suddenly, all kinds of diversity came into life. Perhaps also to do with an explosion, basically, of well, poisonous gases, which weren't poisonous to the creatures. It was oxygen. And shortly after, the cephalopods arose. So squid, an octopus, right? Slightly later, vertebrates, so with a skeleton. And then 230 million years ago, the dinosaurs appeared. So much later than the cephalopods. We all know about the dinosaurs, and they went into extinction 66 million years ago. Very probable because of a meteorite. And that was the right moment for mammals to take over. And basically, most of the reigning animals on Earth are the mammals now. 25 million years ago, the primates, here we are. Has it happened already?
Yeah.
There it is. Oh, sorry, that's this one. The last red line, did you notice it? There it is. That is the appearance of Homo sapiens, our kind. We evolved in Africa, and basically we're all African immigrants in a way. So, okay. And in this line, your whole life is about 1/30,000th of this line. So you're very important, okay? So basically, this is the time on Earth. So it takes a lot of time. So it's insanely long time, but still, the universe is 3 times as old. So there must be planets that have had a lot of time to do all this kinds of stuff. So we only know about Earth, but still possible. So here we are, the final slide. My hypothesis. I think that in all kinds of extreme circumstances, life can exist. If it somehow evolves, it will go underground, underwater, in the air, whatever it is. It will exist, no problem. It will fly in through the air, will swim through the waters, it will burrow underneath the ground, it will do everything. There are all kinds, if you listened to the last time, there are all kinds of exoplanets in habitable zones where there's liquid water. So basically, wherever it is possible. I'm not saying it is there, but it is possible. And we even have that in our own solar system. Underground on Mars. On Mars, at the beginning of the solar system, there was liquid water. So perhaps there are still creatures living underground. The surface of Mars, no life probably, but perhaps deep underground, there's still some life surviving. Possible. There are icy moons around Jupiter and Saturn. They have ice surfaces, but underneath the ice there are oceans, and for instance Ganymede has an ocean that has more water than we have here on Earth. Liquid water. Because of the gravity of Jupiter that keeps it liquid, and there are minerals there. Why not? That's been a long time, so there might be life there. We don't know yet. And then there's Titan, the biggest moon of the solar system, the biggest moon of Saturn. It has a whole kind of atmosphere and not a water cycle, but it's colder there. It has an ethane-methane cycle with ammonia. It has snow, it has rivers, it has lakes, but not of water, but of ethane and methane. There's all kinds of cycles happening on Titan. So perhaps creatures over there, I don't know. I think that evolution by natural selection will occur everywhere. If something is to your advantage and you can reproduce better than another one, that will happen. And if you can, if your children can inherit that, that's an advantage. And this is evolution by natural selection. If you can adapt and copy advantages to your children, this will happen everywhere. I think this is a universal mechanism. Solar energy can be turned into chemical energy, no problem. So you have food. You will have organisms that produce food, and you will have organisms that eat that. So plants and animals, say. This will happen. But of course, we need the core of that. We saw the mitochondria and the chloroplasts here on Earth. I don't say that we have those organisms there, but similar things. And of course, so we need endosymbiosis. So basically, what we all need is cooperation. Right? Thank you very much.